Hey guys, my name is Sasha Franco. I work as a concept artist for video games, and I'm often being asked if I could give an advice on how to improve your colors, especially when it comes to digital painting in Photoshop or in some other software. It doesn't really matter. So I just wanted to share a little tip that I've gotten from my painting teacher at university, which helped me a lot when I was just starting, and after some time transformed into a couple of principles I still use in all my work that requires some coloring. So basically what she said was, in order to make your painting look less muddy and grey, and mine was pretty much an example of what you would call muddy and grey. It was overall pretty hideous and I hated painting all my student life. She told me to stop mixing paint on my palette and instead of that try to use more clean colors, like pick paint exactly as it is from the tube and try to compose like complex colors from the simple ones directly on the canvas or on paper or whatever you use. And I tried it and it was pretty hard at first, but then I think this is the thing that helped me a lot. Like even even when I started working in digital, especially with the RGB mode where it's extremely hard to mix and blend colors without losing saturation. Let me just show what the problem is. So for example, here are a couple of very saturated colors. Some blue and something like this pink one. Both are pretty saturated, right? So I just blend them together with an eyedropper, like everyone else does. Just sampling each from each other and blend them together. And we get something like this violet one. Look how grey it looks in comparison to the original colors. Both pink and blue are almost in the corner of my like color triangle, right? So, and the violet one, it loses half of its saturation in the process of blending, and the same happens to all the colors. And we don't even use colors this saturated when we work, right? Most of the time we use something closer to the center of the color triangle, and when we blend them together they become even more gray regardless of the tool you use, like it's an eyedropper or I don't know, I use like a mixer brush. So let me try and show you my approach to solving this kind of problem. So for example, I have this little portrait here and I want to soften up this edge on her cheek by blending these two colors. So I'm sampling one color with an eyedropper, then go to the color triangle and slide the marker into the direction of more saturation. So like a little bit right. The same happens with the other color. I pick it with an eyedropper, then go to the color triangle and slide it to the right. See, it looks softer and it didn't lose any saturation in the process. I think I've even added some. Also, sometimes to add some variation into the whole color palette, I like to play with the hue wheel as well, like this. I'm picking the color with an eyedropper. This time I'm moving the marker on the color wheel a little bit to the right or to the left. Also trying to be sure I'm not breaking any values by accidentally sliding into the more dark areas. I have this layer with the zero saturation on top of all others that I use from time to time to check my values. Now I want to add some highlight to her forehead. I'm doing it the exact same way. I'm sampling the color from the area I want to work on, then changing the hue on the color wheel, and then paint until I get bored. As for the color wheel I use, it's a separate plugin for Photoshop that costs $15 called Colorus. Um, I'll leave a link in the description. But if you have like the Creative Cloud version of Photoshop, it has its own color square, which is called just the color. Just use it the same way. And I just highly recommend to use it as often as you can. It will make your painting look a lot less boring. Anyway, I'm so very sorry about the language and the overall microphone quality. I'm doing this for the first time in my life. I've never recorded anything in English. It's not my first language and all of that. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope someone will find this information valuable. If you do, let me know. Also, if you have any comments, just leave them in the comment section or contact me on Facebook or anywhere else.